Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So as you guys come in, y'all already know what to do. We got that goal of 100 likes per content drop. So make sure that you guys bang on that like button, share the video out. Also, make sure that you are subscribed to each and every one of the backup channels as well as my other social media. All right. Shout out to my man AJ, you know what I'm saying, for the Cash App this morning. You know what I'm saying? Definitely appreciate that. Got my man Tori and Rain in the building. What up with it, bro? Good to see you as always. Great live stream yesterday. Excellent content as usual. You know what I'm saying? We got Rain King in the building. Good to see you, Rain King. We got Carla Lockhart up in here. So we got a couple streams we're going to do today. So we're going to have some fun. You know what I'm saying? But first, y'all got to give me props on the Gucci print thumbnail. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to give me props on this Gucci print thumbnail and props on the Gucci print profile picture. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already know. Got my man Cameron Jones in the building. What up with it, bro? Good to see you as always. So everybody knows, you know what I'm saying, that evil never dies, but it did a couple days ago. So we're going to talk about some things with that. Jeff Bezos got on code real quick, slams this professor for wishing Queen Elizabeth a quote excruciating death, which I find fascinating because her family is part of the reason why so many black people globally have had excruciating lives. Dare anybody have an issue with her, right? Not only black people, you know what I'm saying? The Queen of England comes from a family that has been known for global degeneracy and thievery. That is their legacy, and we will show that here today. Got my man Rick C in the building. What up with it, bro? Good to see you as always. So I guess there was a Twitter exchange between these two. So it says here, Jeff Bezos slams professor for wishing Queen Elizabeth an excruciating death. All right. A university professor wished Queen Elizabeth II an excruciating death, and she was promptly slammed by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. You know what I'm saying? I find it fascinating. Not so liberal, huh? When it comes to these people, the definition of liberal, you guys all know that's a dog whistle. You know what I'm saying? Jeff Bezos is showing that he's not that liberal. You know what I mean? We got my man Carlton Way in the building. What up with it, bro? I heard the chief monarch of a thriving, graping, genocidal empire is finally dying. Yu Anya, an associate professor of second language acquisition at Carnegie Mellon, wrote in a tweet on Thursday, "May her pain be excruciating." I'm pretty sure that the J community would say the same thing about the individual that is most closely associated with the issues that they've had in the world. But for whatever reason, anybody that causes us issues, if we say anything about it, it's a problem. Guess what, Jeff Bezos? She still tweeted this shit, and ain't a damn thing you're going to do about it. And ain't no technology that Amazon got that's going to bring the queen back. Deal with it. This person here, Jeff Bezos, who is the world's third richest man, then quoted Anya's tweet and wrote, "This is somebody supposedly working to make the world better. I don't think so," Bezos added. Wow. Which is fascinating because, as usual, in normal Hillman fashion, Bezos just completely goes past the legacy of the royal family, which we're going to go through. I bet you she does, Cameron. I bet you she's one of them people that says that black men are the white people of black people. You know what I'm saying? All of those college professor types seem to be that type. She's also one of the people that probably thinks that everybody is a birthing person too. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to my birthing people. You know what I'm saying? The back and forth came as the 96-year-old monarch was under medical supervision at Balmoral Castle in Scotland, and less than an hour before Buckingham Palace officially announced Queen Elizabeth had died at 96 years old. In follow-ups to her initial post elsewhere, the Carnegie Mellon professor defended her tweet in explicit terms. After one user wrote, "Ew, you stink," Anya responded, "You mean like your P word?" That's petty. You know what I'm saying? Anya also doubled down in a response to Bezos, posted just minutes after Elizabeth's death was confirmed, writing, "May everyone you and your merciless greed have harmed in this world remember you as fondly as I remember my colonizers." I ain't mad at that comment. I'm not mad at that comment at all. These people need to be constantly reminded of their history, and constant reminder of their history is not anti-white. If we're gonna only blast black criminality all over the TV, then talking about the dirty history of that part of the world and what they've done to the rest of the world, it's not anti-white. It's pro-history. It's pro-truth, and it is what it is. Twitter later took down Anya's initial tweet for violating its rules, which bar wishing or hoping that someone experiences physical harm. Anya and Carnegie Mellon did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Now, I'm curious to see what ends up happening if I'm curious to see if Carnegie Mellon will fire this woman or not. If you guys think that Carnegie Mellon will fire her, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, give me a thumbs down. Another user asked why she would wish Elizabeth dead. Yeah, again, I would like to see what that certain community wishes of, again, A.H. I'd like to see how they feel about him. And I don't understand why they wouldn't expect us to feel that way about the matriarch of white supremacy. I find that fascinating. The professor wrote, "I'm not wishing her dead. She's dying already. I'm wishing her an agonizingly painful death like the one she's caused for millions of people," which she has. It's an irrefutable fact. It's an irrefutable scabies-infested fact. If anyone expects me to express anything but disdain for the monarch who supervised a government that sponsored the genocide that massacred and displaced half my family and the consequences of which those alive today are still trying to overcome, you can keep wishing upon a star," Anya added. Now, she might be one of those people that calls us Akatas, but I tell you what, when next time the police do something unjustly, I hope the families learn from the way that this professor is talking and talk into the camera to the WS media like this. They always celebrate the deaths of people like George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Facts. We got Still My Beats in the house. What up with it, bro? So now here it says, according to an interview with Anya and that Carnegie Mellon published in January, the linguistics professor was born in Nigeria, a British colony, until 1960. Ironically, they all decided to, back off at the same time. She moved to the U.S. when she was 10 and attended Dartmouth College, Brown University, and the University of California, Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? If you, let me just, I'm not going to say anything right now. Yeah, she petty. I ain't mad at it. She petty. You know what I'm saying? We got my man AB Promotions in the building. What up with it, bro? So yeah, I was in Torian's live stream yesterday, which was a great live stream. He was talking about how Yellow Flash was big triggered. Oh, the left. Oh, the left. They're celebrating the Queen's death. Oh. I bet you Yellow Flash, who doesn't show his face on the internet because he hides behind 8chan, 4chan, and Discord like they all do, I bet you if he did a DNA test, he could probably trace his lineage back to the original group of tethers that fled from the royal family and squatted here in the United States, and while squatting, took a shit all over this country. and people are still wiping it up. I find it fascinating that these right-wing conservatives, Chad nerds, Peyton Gendron types, I find it fascinating that just a couple days ago, Queen Elizabeth would have been considered an elite. Remember? No such thing as racism. It's classism and the elites. The elites just want us all turned against each other. Well, an actual elite who actually turned Europeans against white people actually just passed away. And now you mad because people critiquing her. That well, because of systemic exclusion, my voice is unique and foundational in the field, Anya said in the Carnegie Mellon interview. I am the main scholar looking at race and experiences of blackness in language, learning one of the few who examine language education from a social justice perspective. I bet you she has some insights as to why we all have the names that we have, why we speak the language that we speak. It wasn't by choice, was it? I might actually do a reaction to it. Still my beats. Yeah, send it over. You know what I'm saying? Bezos did not immediately respond to Anya's reply, instead posting a separate tweet to memorialize the queen, writing, I can think of no one who better personified duty. So pay very close attention, because what did her family do? My deepest condolence to all of the Brits mourning her passing today. So remember, this is a guy who feels this way, that the white supremacist monarch, the white supremacist matriarch, was a great person who did a great duty. Which for him, I mean, you know, she's one of the people who installed white supremacy into the globe, the biggest social safety net ever known to man. So, yeah, it would make sense that, you know, he's thanking her, right? But pay very close attention, because Jeff Bezos gave all that money to Van Jones. So what did that tell you about Van Jones for accepting blood money from a piece of shit like Jeff Bezos? Shout out to my man RG Titan. I mean, I get it. Jeff Bezos is upset because his head looks like a testicle. You know what I'm saying? I guess I would be kind of upset too. But nothing that you say is going to cause the Lazarus effect for the queen. You know what I'm saying? For the queen of the mean white supremacist global machine. Nothing's going to bring her back. Doesn't matter how much baby blood, or, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how many rituals they do. None of that shit matters. Like Apocalypse said to the X-Men, she's been blessed with the purity of oblivion. You know what I'm saying? Bezos' defense of the Queen followed a July visit he had paid to Buckingham Palace, where the Sun reported he and his family admired the royal family's collections of jewels and artwork. So what the royal family's collection of jewels and artwork is the biggest evidence chamber of white supremacy on the planet. That is a trap house, a stolen artifact repository. And we'll go over it because it's worth billions of dollars. And as far as I'm concerned, people need to start demanding give it back. Motherfuckers should have been hashtagging give it back after she passed away. The Bezos visit is already jokingly being nicknamed a shopping trip by palace staff, a Buckingham Palace source dished to the newspaper. He showed a particular interest in the throne room and the ballroom. And of course, he showed an interest in the ballroom. That's because his head looks like a nutsack. You know what I'm saying? Every time he looks in the mirror, he's looking at a left nut with eyes. So it makes sense. Bezos did not meet with members of the royal family, instead dining with Tom Cruise at a restaurant in the Tony Mayfair neighborhood after his visit, according to The Sun. The Washington Post owner has become more active on Twitter in recent months, using the site to take jabs at the Biden administration and Elon Musk, as well as reminisce about his first job at McDonald's. Ironic. Pink slime working at a place where they serve pink slime. If only he had found himself on the frying pan. You know what I'm saying? So, again, everybody's outraged about this. You know what I'm saying? Of course, the geeks, they're outraged about this. You know what I mean? There's this publication called The Geek Wire. You know what I'm saying? And there goes Jeff Bezos' head, fresh with talcum powder on it. University rebukes professor whose tweet about dying queen drew response from Jeff Bezos. All right, so the university rebuked the professor. So we just asked that question about what we thought the university would do. The university rebukes the professor. I mean, how dare you be black and talk about a white genocidal maniac? How dare you? A professor whose tweet about Queen Elizabeth was called out by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, among other, has been rebuked by the university where she works. So pay very close attention. This is one of the reasons why we have to have our own institutions, or the institutions that we have, we need to build those up to where they're competitive and eventually overtake the institutions that are around now. Torian says that Jeff Bezos looks like a descendant of Fester Adams. Facts. Dr. Yu Anya, a professor in the Department of Modern Language at Carnegie Mellon University, tweeted Thursday when news reports initially said the queen was in grave condition. I heard the chief monarch of a thriving, graping genocidal empire is finally dying. May her pain be excruciating, Anya said. Now, what I find fascinating, let's just marinate on this real quick. You know what I'm saying? Let's just marinate on this like some seasoned salt and some garlic salt. With a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. So ironic, Worcestershire. You know what I'm saying? White people are outraged by this. Shout out to my man Crypto Key. They're outraged. In my Tory and Rain voice, in all of the in all of the DMV glory, I feel nothing. You know what I'm saying? I feel nothing, for real. Matter of fact, what I feel like doing is talking about everything wrong that she ever did in her entire life, as well as her entire family, because these families need to be ran. Shout out to Tia to you. You know what I'm saying? Joining the membership. Anybody who is interested in helping the channel grow, helping the channel become independent, want y'all follow Tia's lead and hit that membership up. It is only 99 cents a month. You get a free super chat monthly, you get a cool green name, and you get access to the emojis. And as soon as I get enough members where I can put another emoji on there, guess which one I'm putting on there? Gucci. Dorian says in the Yoda voice, I feel nothing. Facts. 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 Speaking of Star Wars, is it just me, or did Queen Elizabeth look like the Emperor? Emperor, what was his name? Palatine? Doesn't she? On a day when social media was dominated by strong reactions to the death of the British monarch from world leaders and random brands in the US, Bezos tweeted his own displeasure at Anya's statement. this is supposedly someone working to make the world better. I don't think so. Wow. What I find fascinating is, why did Jeff Bezos not know anything about what the Queen has done to make the world a horrible place? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, drop some radiation emojis for my man Mike Mellis John, and for Tia, both. I forgot to say that for Tia, for becoming a member. Remember, 99 cents, y'all. That helps. Believe it or not, that helps. Palpatine, that's it. Palpatine. She shot back at the former Amazon CEO in his replies, writing, "May everyone you and your merciless greed have harmed in this world remember you as fondly as I remember my colonizers." It wasn't the first time Anya had mixed it up in an indirect way with Bezos. In August, she tweeted a picture of herself with Chris Smalls, the union organizer in New York who led the first organized labor victory at Amazon's warehouse facility. Twitter ended up deleting Anya's original tweet about the Queen for violating company rules. And later Thursday, look at this, Carnegie Mellon issued a statement about the professor's posts, saying that the university did not condone offensive and objectionable messages. But what they don't say is that what she was saying is true. Yeah, she's a rebel. I'm not mad at that at all. I am not mad at that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Iron Will. What up with it, bro? I am so not mad at that. According to Anya's bio, she teaches and conducts research in critical applied linguistics, critical sociolinguistics, new language learning, and critical race and discourse studies as an associate professor of second language acquisition. She holds a PhD. So she wouldn't have been on Kevin Samuel's good list. In applied linguistics from UCLA, a Master's of Arts in Brazilian Studies from Brown University, and a BA in Romance Languages from Dartmouth College. Anya is from Nigeria, which was a British colony until 1960. Now we gotta ask her, who's responsible for the creation of who's responsible for the creation of hip hop? What's she gonna say? She gonna mess everything that she just did up. So there was this tweet that came out that had a news clip in it, and I want you guys to watch it, because what I find fascinating is BBC News Africa says that the Queen had a wonderful relationship with Africa. I mean, I bet shit got all kind of free shit out of Africa like it was a damn swap meet. Who doesn't have a good relationship when you're doing shit like that? Look at this shit. We take a look back at the Queen Elizabeth long-standing relationship with Africa. How dare these motherfuckers? And they posted it under the BBC News Africa account, which don't know African own. The world is correct, but human-derived information is not.
Somebody asked me, had I been to Africa before? Which was nice of them to ask, but I did say that I had been everywhere in the Commonwealth in Africa and in other countries in Africa. I think I've seen more of Africa than almost anybody.
Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, got my man Mo Fax in the building. What up with it, Mo Fax? Good to see you as always, bro. If y'all are not subscribed to my man Mo Fax channel, please make sure y'all go check him out. You know what I'm saying? Mo, drop your link in the chat. And also Torian and Jay, drop y'all links in the chat so people can go check y'all out and support y'all channel. We got to get Torian Rain to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the day. Can we do it? I think we can do it. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, I know we can do it. Now, here's my question. How much of her stolen property has she returned? Other than her soul. How much of her stolen property has she returned other than her soul? If she even had one.
Everywhere I have traveled, in these lovely lands of South Africa and Rhodesia, my parents, my sister and I have been taken to the heart of their people and made to feel that we are just as much at home here as if we had lived among them all our lives.
That's the problem. Oh, I think Diana probably got on a blue jean jacket, that 80s hairstyle, and holding a baseball bat waiting. That's what I think. That's what I think. She looked like the cover of one of those books with one of those outcasted white women with a leather jacket and some stonewashed jeans with the puffy hair and a baseball bat with some half-fingered weightlifting gloves waiting. That's what Diana looking like in the spirit realm.
When she returned from a night in the forest, it was to learn that she is now the queen, acceding to her father's throne immediately.
High life, the West African recipe for an enchanting evening. The gay finale to 11 days of royal happiness.
Who was happy? I mean, when you look at this video, you gotta ask yourself the question. No army tanks to greet her. No landmines under the red carpet. You think she would have trounced around Russia like this? You think she'd be trouncing around in China on one of Xi Jinping's blocks like this? You think the KGB would have been in the street dancing like this? With that ancient animal that probably hasn't taken a bath in 2 centuries?
My husband and I have been deeply touched by the welcome you have given us. We, in return, bring to you the affection and the support of my other people in the United Kingdom.
Affection and support? Affection and support. That's what affection looks like. Affection and support. While she's sitting there wearing a crown with diamonds that she stole from your backyard. White people always ask the question, how did racism affect anybody that's alive today? They ask that question because they know racism allows them to ask that question. But we're going to explain that. And we're going to explain it through showing how white people, like Queen Elizabeth, got their unearned privilege and money. That's what we're going to show.
Whose eyes are turned on Nigeria today.
These white people have the nerve to criticize human rights in Nigeria after what they have done to the entire planet. Hypocrisy on hypocrisy. You know what I'm saying? Hypocrisy on top of hypocrisy. Layered ridiculousness. Layered ridiculous. BBC Africa needs to be dismantled. This video got 10.8 million views.
The Commonwealth is an example of multilateralism at work, allowing it.
How is it a commonwealth? What kind of wealth do you have in common when you've stolen all of the diamonds and the resources and those people have zero wealth and they're in third world conditions? What's common about the wealth? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, drop some radiation emojis in the chat for my man AJ. Your boy AJ sent a Cash App this morning that will definitely help us to stream another day. And if you guys have not smashed that like button, take a moment, make sure that you guys smash that like button. We got 16 people watching and we got 15 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button, it will get us up to 31 likes.
Its members, whatever their size or level of development, to have their voices heard in the concert of nations.
Zimbabwe.
I pray that the process of positive change underway in South Africa may be successfully continued. Heads of government in Harare will certainly do their best, I'm sure.
You don't want me running the world. Yeah, that's what you don't want. You know what I'm saying? No, this motherfucker really be correct. For real.
To give it every encouragement.
When you start not just taking that acceptable level of racism, they get offended. They get offended. Look, the queen is mad. You know what I'm saying? Think about how incorrect this sounds, but how correct it actually is. South Africa's first black president. First black president? An African country with a first black president? Let that marinate. Can you imagine a European country with a first white prime minister or a first white president? An Asian country with the first Asian president? Can you imagine that? Never fought a war against these people. That shit don't even happen to places when war goes down. This is a different kind of war. Let that marinate. And I definitely appreciate it, AJ. And you guys see what AJ says? AJ says, I appreciate the work. I will not financially contribute to YouTube, so it goes straight to you, no cut. I definitely appreciate that, bro. Anybody who feels the same way as AJ, which is not a bad way to feel at all, the bots also put in the links that go directly to Cash App or PayPal, and you can always find them on the about part of the page. Every time she gets mad, a new wrinkle shows up. Facts. A few days ago, a wrinkle in time showed up. You know what I'm saying? Sums it up. First black president in Africa is an example of how white supremacy got the world on lock. Facts. That's highly problematic. What's even more highly problematic is that the other people of the world see nothing wrong with that, which means that they agree. Definitely appreciate you, AB. Appreciate you, bro. Make note of that, y'all. Make note of that.
Well, Your Majesty, you're looking well, taking into account your tight schedule. I'm very.
Tomorrow I'm going to see 16 people. I may not look so good tomorrow.
What a shame. What a shame. White supremacy is a business that has a lot of different subdivisions. One of the subdivisions is called the Royal African Company, and that company is still incorporated to this day. In 1619, some 20 Africans arrived at Jamestown, Virginia, where they were purchased from Dutch privateers to aid in the English colony's lucrative, labor-intensive cultivation of tobacco. If you guys know about the South African history, the Dutch are the people who instilled the apartheid government system in South Africa. As profits piled up and slavery spread through the American colonies, the British Crown decided to exert control over the slave trade to the colonies and the wealth that it generated. The British Crown decided to exert control. So you see, this is what I'm talking about. It was Dutch people who were doing this. The British Crown decided to exert control. So there's always them doing that. And if there's nobody else around, they'll do it to themselves. Shout out to my man, Jay Bird. What up with it, bro? According to the Navigation Act of 1660, only English-owned ships could enter colonial ports. That same year, King Charles II granted a charter to the Company of Royal Adventurers trading to Africa. Led by the king's younger brother, James, the Duke of York, later King James II, this group had a monopoly on British trade with West Africa, including gold, silver, and slaves. Now, the West African politicians, the West African leaders at the time who were trading these slaves, which would later be transformed into what we are today, they've never really received any scrutiny. I agree with Carlton 100%. They owe us reparations too. They owe us reparations too. Thanks to England's war with the Netherlands. Look at this. I want you guys to understand this. During this time, these people were fighting with each other. And they still made time to rob, steal, and plunder in Africa. Take time from killing each other to grab a couple gold bars here and there and be out. The original company collapsed under mounting debts in 1667, reemerging in 1672 with the new royal charter and a new name, the Royal African Company. Okay. Royal African Company ships sailed from Bristol, Liverpool, and London to West Africa, operating from military forts based along some 5,000 miles of coastline from Cape Sail, which is present-day Morocco, to Cape of Good Hope in what is now South Africa. From 1680 to 1686, the company transported an average of 5,000 slaves per year, most of which were shipped to colonies in the Caribbean and in Virginia. Facts, Vince. Real gangsters. And I agree 100%, Crypto. Why they think that any black person is obligated to give this colonizing clown any kind of accolades is beyond me. Nah, I didn't see it, Cameron. I'm gonna have to check it out. Thousands of slaves arrived in the New World with the company's initials branded on their chests. So shout out to our first employer, guys. Shout out to our first employer, the Royal Africa Company. Demand for slaves was still too high for one company to meet. However, the Royal African Company effectively lost its monopoly in 1689 after the Glorious Revolution toppled King James in favor of William and Mary. By the end of the 17th century, England led the world in slave trading and would continue to do so throughout the 18th century. And Jeff Bezos wants somebody to kiss this old dead corpse's wrinkled ass. Like they always say, over my dead body. The RAC continued to engage in slave trading until 1731, when it switched to trafficking in gold dust and ivory, which was also stolen. In 1752, Parliament dissolved the RAC and transferred all of its companies to the Company of Merchants Trading in Africa. And when I say that the company is still alive today, this is what I'm talking about, this asset transfer. Torian said, what song did you play when you heard the news? I just went and polished off my Infinity Gauntlet and said, the world is correct. The world is correct. So let's take a little look at the Royal African Company. And it makes sense why Jeff Bezos would sympathize with the Queen, because he's running a new Royal Africa Company. It's just a modernized version. The Royal African Company was an English mercantile company set up in 1660. Pay very close attention to those 2 6s. Evil shit. Think that's an accident? By the Royal Stuart family and City of London, merchants to trade along west coast of Africa. It was led by the Duke of York, who was the brother of King Charles II, and in 1685, York took the throne as James II. The RAC shipped more African slaves to the Americas than any company in the history of the transatlantic slave trade, and was owned entirely by the English crown. The Royal African Company and all of its liquidation needs to be sued for reparations also from the entire diaspora. But instead, people want to fight. Instead of fighting these people. It was established after Charles II gained the English throne in the restoration of 1660. While its original purpose was to exploit, the gold fields up the Gambia River, which were identified by Prince Rupert during the interim. It developed and led a brutal, sustained slave trade. Remember, they did all of this without an official war. They did all this without an official war. It also extracted other commodities. Remember, I keep telling you guys about commodities. Where's Carla and Val at? Oil and Gold Railroad. Mainly from the Gold Coast. After becoming insolvent in 1708, it survived in a state of much reduced activity until 1752, when its assets were transferred to the New African Company of Merchants, which lasted until 1821. You see this? In the 17th century, the settlements on the west coast of Africa, though they had an important trade of their own gold and ivory, existed chiefly for the supply of slaves to the West Indies and America. These people are genetic human traffickers. They have a lineage of illegal human trafficking. On the West Coast, the Europeans lived in fortified factories, trading posts, but had no sovereignty over the land or its natives. The coastal tribes acted, look at this, the coastal tribes acted as intermediaries between them and the slave hunters of the interior. Why are you facilitating these people hunting and harming people that look like you? Are you out of your goddamn mind? Must have been. I don't know how many people are subscribed to the Auditing Africa channel, but I think on the Auditing Africa channel, I'm going to do a series called Are You Out of Your Goddamn Mind? I think I'm about to do that. There was little incentive for European men to explore up the rivers, and few of them did so. That's another thing that's not true. European men were too weak to explore up the river. In this area, there was rivers that had mosquitoes that carried malaria. And that's one of the reasons why black people have sickle cell genetically, because sickle cell actually actively turns your cell membrane of your red blood cells into fibrinogen, which stops the sickle cell which stops the malaria parasite from getting inside of your cells. White people didn't have that because of their geographic origin of Europe. So their immune system and their evolution was not up to par to be able to go into those deep parts with those mosquitoes that carried malaria. That's one of the reasons why they use the intermediaries. The atmosphere might have been one of the quiet routine there had there not been acute rivalries between the European powers, especially the Dutch, who made use of the native allies against the rivals. So, I mean, the Dutch had the damn natives fighting with them. The Dutch, who instilled the apartheid, had the natives with them fighting the damn English. Again, are you out of your goddamn mind? Yeah, there needs to be a reparations case by all sickle cell patients against the United States and against any of these families that are linked to this company here, the Royal African Company. Because sickle cell inflammation here in the United States or anywhere else other than these areas where these mosquitoes are is a result of displacement. Shout out to Root Trackers. What up with it? Before the Restoration, the Dutch had been the main suppliers of slaves to the English West Indian plantations, but it was part of the policy of the English Navigation Acts to oust them from lucrative trade. So while they look at this, the white supremacy always breaks its tools. It's breaking the damn Dutch. White supremacy always breaks its tools. A racist population at large was the tool for a long time of white supremacy. And now that they're closing in on the class structure and they're knocking out the middle class, you got these morons running around like ants without a damn queen. No pun intended. Literally sitting up here talking about it's not about race, it's about class. No, what it's about is white supremacy is breaking its tool, which was you, the middle class. Foundation in early years, originally known as the Company of Royal Adventurers Trading into Africa, by its charter issued in 1660, was granted monopoly over English trade along with the west coast of Africa. I mean, they just go somewhere giving away somebody else's shit. Now I'm just going to come here. This shit mine now. Pay very close attention. Every acquisition method that was used to establish the United States is now something that's on the books as an illegal activity. Every single law that is illegal currently is a law that the United States broke before that law was in existence to help form the United States. That is why this is not a criminal justice system. It is a criminals '(S) justice system. Originally known as the Company of Royal Adventurers Trading into Africa by its charter issued in 1660, it was granted a monopoly over English trade along the west coast of Africa, with the principal objective being the search for gold. In 1663, a new charter was obtained, which also mentioned the trade in slaves. This was the third English African company, but it made a fresh start in the slave trade, and there was only one factory of importance for it to take over from the East India Company, which it had leased as a calling place on the sea route around the Cape. This was Cormanton, a few miles east of the Dutch station of Cape Coast Castle, now in Ghana. The 1663 charter prohibits others to trade in redwood, elephants' teeth, Negroes, slaves, hides, wax, guinea grains, or other commodities. And you got white people sitting up here making conspiracy theories, talking about maritime admiralty law is the law that enslaves all of us. This is maritime admiralty law right here, where humans were commoditized. We're the only group of people in the world that was commoditized. White people benefited from maritime admiralty law. We were victims of it. We were shipped over to open waters. Not anybody else. Every time I hear some of that nonsense, you hear some of these QAnon morons and conservative nutcases. Well, we're all victims of the same. Now, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You're a victim of having the brain inside of your skull that you have. That's the only thing that you're a victim of. In 1663, as a prelude to the Dutch War, Captain Holmes' expedition captured or destroyed all the Dutch settlements on the coast. And in 1664, Fort James was founded on an island about 20 miles up the Gambia River as new center for English trade and power. This, however, was only the beginning of a series of captures and recaptures. In the same year, de Ruyter won back all of the Dutch forts except Cape Coast Castle and took Cormonton. In 1667, the Treaty of Breda confirmed Cape Coast Castle to the English. Now, this is what's important right here, and the whole thing is important. But I mean, what you guys need to pay very close attention to is how many damn wars were going on. You know what I'm saying? They were getting slaves and selling slaves with the help of the people there while they were in a war with each other. They all get me with we all bleed the same blood. Yeah, I don't think there's a one of us that has Rh positive blood. So we don't. Very few of them get sickle cell, which is part of your blood, which is one of the reasons why they had to have the other tribes help them to get slaves in deep interior areas of the sub-Saharan. Yeah, we don't. We literally don't. That's one of the reasons why they stole Henrietta Lacks's stem cells, because we don't. So now here it says in 1680, the company was transporting about 5,000 enslaved people a year to markets primarily in the Caribbean across the Atlantic. Many were branded with the letters DOY for its governor, Duke of York, who succeeded his brother on the throne in 1685, becoming King James II. It's nice that LeBron James names himself after that, isn't it? Would I tell people about that stupid ass shit? I told motherfuckers about weird people that wear sandals and shit too. Come to find out, that idiot that did that dumbass shit down in Tennessee left a damn sandal at the crime scene. But we'll talk about that in another stream. And his nickname was Pookie. Sheesh. Between 1672 and 1731, the Royal African Company transported 187,697 enslaved people on company-owned ships, 653 voyages to English colonies in the Americas. Of those transported, 38,497 enslaved people died en route. 38,000 people. This is a genocide. We supposed to celebrate this bitch? Celebrate what? The fact that the casket is closed? Because that's the only damn thing that I see worth celebrating. What does she do to make any of this right? Or are we going to sit here and say, well, I don't know how racism affected anybody that's alive today? Nobody from that dirty-ass British royal family better ever form their mouth to say a lie like that. Because I'm going to show you exactly how racism affects them today. I'm going to show you exactly how it affects them today. Like this. The British Royal Jewels, beautiful and historic gems. And this isn't all. This is not all. So don't get it twisted. These diamonds are beyond VVS quality. All eyes were on Britain in July of 2013 as the world eagerly awaited the arrival of the newest British royal. The first child of Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, a boy, was born July 22nd of 2030 and is third in line for the throne. He will inherit a rich legacy and perhaps wear some of the most prized historic jewels of the royal realm. The 6 pieces described below are part of the royal collection, held in trust by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth or her successors in the nation, or the personal property of Queen Elizabeth II. These gems are not only beautiful, but they have a rich history and a distinct gemological allure. These are all of the gems. Now, what you guys need to see is how much this stuff is worth. Because all of these, that was just the gems in the scepter. There's also the crown jewels. Who knows what the total amount of the crown jewels is worth? Look at this. Look at this. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. So where's some women at? We got Tia up in here. Carla's up in here. I need y'all to help me out with something here. 530 carats. 317 carats. 105 carats. That's something that you guys would like to unwrap. Oh, we got Roots Tracker too, yeah. That's something that you guys would like to unwrap under a Christmas tree or for your anniversary. $106 grams, 63 grams, 21 grams. What's the spot price of gold? What is it about? Well, what is it about, like $1,700 a gram? Now, the crown jewels, that's one of the things that people see all the time. Have y'all ever seen the royal carriage? If you guys have ever seen the royal carriage, give me a thumbs up. If you guys haven't, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to my man Black Star Racer. What up with it, bro? This is the royal carriage. Roots Tracker said she saw it in person. That's some FN Mecca shit right there. That is real gold and diamonds in a damn carriage. I'm about to show you guys some information here. The royal carriage is worth $4,188. $4.188 million. Look at this. Stolen property. Stolen property that aged well. Trouncing around, prancing around in it as if they earned that shit. Look at this. The Gold State Coach will showcase a poignant tribute to Queen Elizabeth II during the Jubilee pageant on Sunday, June 5th, having long been viewed as a splendid and beloved sight. At key royal events for the past 260 years, the anticipated parade of the horse-drawn carriage, and they actually use this motherfucker, marks yet another significant milestone in the history of the British monarch. The elegantly decorated vehicle is adorned with elaborate gold tritons, paintings, and carvings, but exactly how much is the carriage worth? Now, remember, this is an old article, so the price of gold has increased. The fragile carriage is one of the royal family's most prized possessions, with every aspect of the structure built with deep meaning and valuable materials, bringing its total value to more than 1.5 million pounds. There it is right there. All of this shit on here, all of it, the spokes, all of that shit is gold. Shout out to my man Solo T. What up with it, bro? All of this is gold. All of this is stolen gold. You know how they got that gold that's called rose gold and it's got like the red tint to it? This is stole gold. These people are thieves. Somebody's supposed to feel sorry? Somebody's supposed to feel bad? For what? What's somebody supposed to feel bad about? I want to show y'all this real quick so that y'all can get a little bit of a price, a little bit of a pricing here. All right. So we looked at those scepters and we looked at the royal carriage. Now we're going to look at how much the crown jewels are worth. This is how much the British crown jewels are really worth. Monetary value is estimated in the billions. In the billions. According to Express, it estimates the monetary value of the British crown jewels between 3 billion and 5 billion pounds, which is between 4 billion and 6 billion dollars. And this is an old article, so it's probably worth more. We're going to look at this in an article from Express. And just pay very close attention. This is who white society expects us to be tweeting and feeling bad for. Insane. Insane in the motherfucking membrane. But if you say that too much, Be Real and them will be talking about how they created hip hop. So look at this.
I like the Black Princess Ruby.
The coronation. As part of the Royal Collection season, BBC One looks back at coronations from history.
It's the sort of beginning of one's life as a sovereign.
As Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II shares her personal insights.
And I've seen one.
Now that's iced out for real. That's iced out. This shit these motherfucking rappers be doing. This is ice right here. Did y'all see that? Hold on real quick. Stolen ass ice.
As part of the royal collection season, BBC One looks back at coronations from history.
It's the sort of beginning of one's life as a sovereign.
You see that? Look at that. Look at that crown. That crown is frozen. She look like the Quaker. She look like the Quaker Oats man. The Queen was crowned in June of 1953. And as most monarchs since the 13th century before her, she wore the St. Edward's crown on the day. Named after Edward the Confessor, which this motherfucker clearly hasn't confessed a damn thing because they haven't given shit back. The St. Edward's crown is the centerpiece for the British crown jewels. Now, I want to skip down here to where they have the value at. Look at all this shit. Look at all this iced out ass shit. Now, they be talking about how rappers are iced out and that shit is ignorant as hell. This is some ignorant ass. Look at all this. I bet you her weak, brittle, hollow ass neck can barely hold all this heavy ass shit on her head. The largest gem, the Cullinan 1 diamond, is found in the scepter with the cross. And that one particular gem is worth $400 million on its own. The one gem is worth $400 million on its own. Did she earn that? Did she earn that, y'all? Did she pull herself up by the bootstraps? The only thing that white people have to say about this is that black people sold black people. What they don't tell you about while black people were selling black people is that white people were killing white people in a war while all that was going on. The Dutch versus the English. They left that part out. Just like they leave every damn thing out. The Royal African Company. They got that crown and they got us. Look at this. As early as 1618, King James had granted a patent to a company that wanted to trade gold and precious woods in Africa. And you got to ask yourself this question, who were they trading to? Now, here's my question. What can you learn from this? Because in my opinion, people are still making the same mistakes. And that mistake is that people don't understand the value that they have, and they don't understand the value that they create, and they're willing to surrender it for acceptance. Their acceptance is not currency. I don't know how long it's going to get people or how long it's going to take people to understand that lesson, but until people get that through their skulls, nothing is going to change, and the world is going to stay correct in the current form that we see it in today. Acceptance by these other people is not a viable form of currency. It is not a legal tender. It doesn't mean anything, and it doesn't have any value. It's only imaginary in people with low self-esteem's brains, which is one of the reasons why there's a constant media barrage, a constant nonsensical barrage, attack from the population at large, attack from political parties, and attack from the media to try to make you doubt your value, to try to make you doubt your self-worth. Because their currency, all of their currencies, if you're from a place that has nothing valuable, then you have to create an illusion of value in order to trick people to get something that's valuable. Nothing that they have to offer now or then is valuable. I don't know what happened in people's brains to where they started to fall for this nonsense. But that is what it is. What's valuable about any of this? Nothing. What can you take this nonsense to the store and buy? If somebody accepts you, oh, they think I'm one of the good ones. What the hell is that going to buy you? If you're going through an eviction, is that going to save you? No. If you gambled all your money away and you owe a bookie, is he going to not beat your ass because somebody accepts you? No. They want their money, which money is worthless too. If you come from some place that has nothing, in order to survive, you have to trick people to trade your nothing for something of value. And people continue to do that. They do that in politics with symbolism. We'll give you a holiday. No, you won't. You're going to give everybody that holiday. Pattern behavior. It's the same damn thing. Shout out to Abby Normal. What up with it, Abby? When are people going to understand that? When are people going to learn that? I don't know. Other groups also received rights to trade in Africa, but never dealt with slaves in any major way, which this is, who knows if this is true or not. Now, as far as the Royal African Company goes, I'm sure they still have records in some kind of archive somewhere. What people need to do is people need to run the Royal African Company's employee roster and trace those families back to people that have roots here in the United States, black people and white people. Start going after individuals, because none of these motherfuckers' descendants have qualified immunity unless they work for the police, which they probably do. But that qualified immunity isn't going to help anything because it doesn't have anything to do with an arrest. They only have qualified immunity from what they do while they're working as a police officer. Remember, they work as a police officer 8 hours of the day, and then they work as a full-time white supremacist for the other 16 hours of the day. So, all these motherfuckers have 2 jobs. Shout out to my man Nate G. What up with it, bro? English involvement in the slave trade would intensify after 1663, when a new patent was issued to the Company of Royal Adventurers. England had realized the money to be made trading slaves to the West Indies and Virginia. By 1668, over a quarter of the company's profits were derived from the slave trade. I mean, there you go. That's how racism affects people who are alive today. White people, who racism has the most positive effect on, are still alive today. So next time a white person asks you, how does racism affect anybody that's still alive today? Just ask them for their mother maiden name and their last name and tell them you'll get back to them in about 3 months after I run all of your shit like a CPA. Facts, Zip. What's up with it, bro? Africans in Virginia's early years. The first documented arrival of Africans to Virginia was in 1619 when an English warship, of course, it was some warship because, I mean, is there ever peace? White Lion, which, I mean, where's one of those at? Arrived at Point Comfort in present-day Hampton. The African captives had been forcefully removed from a Portuguese slave ship. I mean, these motherfuckers even stole slaves. Damn. Just stealing every damn thing. The motherfuckers that came in 1619 was stolen from a damn Portuguese ship. Subsequent to being attacked by the White Lion and another English warship, Treasurer, while sailing in the Bay of Campeche. The White Lion's English captain, John Jope, carried letters of marque from the Dutch Prince Maurice, making it legal for his ship to sail as a privateer and attack any Spanish or Portuguese ships it encountered. The 20 and odd Africans on the White Lion were traded to colony officials for food. These Africans were much needed workers to cultivate tobacco, the new cash crop of Virginia. The institution of slavery slowly crept into Virginia legislation. By 1660, slavery as we think of it today was established in Virginia. Tobacco was extremely labor intensive and more workers were needed. The sale of Africans to Virginia planters promised to be a profitable endeavor. Why have people not ran the line items of these tobacco companies? I guarantee you Philip Morris is a company that's a descendant and a beneficiary of all of this. People need to start running the tobacco families. Y'all remember the tobacco wars? At first, trading directly with other European countries was common in Virginia, but the Navigation Act of 1660 brought such relations to a close. Only English-owned ships could enter colonial ports. You see, this is what they start. This is what they do. They start turning on each other. I'm taking all this shit. These people have to be around and interfering with other people in order for them to be able to have some kind of stable functionality. If there's no one else involved in the situation, or if there's too many resources around, it disrupts the functioning. That's what you guys need to pay attention to. That's anything that causes disruption is what people need to pay attention to. And because this system is so technologically advanced and so global and has so much more resources, you need to pay attention to how to manually take care of this. The manual way to take care of this is to derange their internal politics to get them to constantly fight because they seem like they're missing out on value or they're not controlling a certain element of something that they want to control. That's how you collapse this shit from the inside out. It's like clockwork. They're going through a period right now like that with the Democrats and the Republicans, and people just sitting there batting their eyes talking about you grabbing some popcorn. You better get you some propaganda. The fuck? You better start putting the pressure on, saying shit like this. Start drawing clear lines in the sand and then backing away from them. When they start going at each other, you guys read that psychological warfare yesterday in that all money ain't good money video. Psychological warfare has been waged on us since 1619, and it's still being waged on us today. But the problem is, when you start talking like this, whoa, you doing too much. I'm not doing too much. Everybody else is doing too little as far as I'm concerned. That's how each and every one of you guys should look at anybody that says you're doing too much. Fact zip, reverse engineering. Exactly. Pay attention to the pattern and look for the weak spots and exploit it. That is why they have to put us into everything. They have to put us into everything as a regulation. Now, Neely Fuller Jr. said that black people are toxic, and when black people are around each other, they fight. So black people should stay away from each other unless working on productive activities. That's what Neely Fuller Jr. said. If that's the case, white people are toxic around other white people and are only functional when engaging in white supremacy, which there's evidence of. I mean, there's while they were colonizing, they were at war and colonizing. The reason we are toxic around each other is not because we're just naturally toxic. It's because that culture has merged itself with us like a fucking Venom or Carnage suit. That's why. So everything that causes an issue with you will also cause an issue with them. It's just that they understand that better because they're looking at a manipulated creation. It's very simple. When people wake up and realize that shit and stop saying one thing and start acting on what it is that they claim they want to do, it'll be 24 hours before the card house falls down. It'll be a sudden crash like the stock market. But that requires people to actually want that. And I don't think people want that. I don't think the majority of people are actually interested in that. I think the majority of people are interested in maintaining the status quo and just improving the status quo to where it's a little bit more livable for them. If I could get a job where I make just a little bit more money, if I could go on just one more vacation, if that's what people want, that's what people will get. If people want to deal with the global infrastructure, then that's what they'll do. The world is correct because people are doing what they're willing to do. These are the limits of what people are willing to do. I'm willing to march around in the street with a picket sign, but I ain't willing to drive around in a damn army tank in the street going toward authorities. I'm not willing to do that. No. It's not like it hasn't been done in other countries. So it's not like it's out of the realms of impossibility or doability or feasibility. It's what people actually desire. I got a question for y'all. Do you all feel that the payment of reparations will dismantle a global white supremacist system. My question is, how will that do anything if you're being paid in white supremacist fiat currency, which is worth nothing? That's my question. Are you actually getting any of these diamonds or gold or any of this shit? Shout out to my man Ricky. What up with it, bro? Exactly. Exactly. And the reason why I always say that is not because I don't support reparations efforts. I do 110%. But what people need to do is look beyond that. Because you're not safe until there's no traces of it left. And if what you're fighting for is a vehicle of currency derived from and specifically for that system, remember what Morpheus said on The Matrix. Anything or person that is still connected is a threat. The United States dollar is a weapon of mass destruction. Just remember that. It's a weapon of mass destruction. That's a fact. It's been proven. It's been shown that the United States dollar has destroyed empires. So just be careful what you wish for. If you destroy white supremacy, you don't even need that shit. That's what the immediate goal should be. And in order to do that, that takes more than a conversation with the government. That takes more than a conversation with politicians. That takes first a conversation with yourself, and then it takes a conversation with everybody else. Because that's what these people did. They had a conversation. They had closed door meetings. This is what we're going to do. Remember when I told you guys white supremacy is a business? You're looking at the businesses. It's a business with many subsidiaries. This is it. Literal businesses with receipts and logs, inventory. Black people had cargo bans. So no one is celebrating anything about the queen other than the fact that she ain't around anymore. Shout out to my man Perfect Pure TM. What up with it, bro? And we still have to deal with global anti-blackness. Facts. That's big facts. And I think the best thing to do to deal with anti-blackness is to destroy our own anti-blackness that we have. If you look at other groups, one of the things that's very different from black people and other groups is because most other groups don't have a outward display of anti-self. We do. I think once people resolve that, for one, it'll be a lot more clear to when you look at the world to see it for what it is. And for two, it'll make the path to an effective way to deal with this a lot easier to get to. Because now everybody's on the same page and understands that there's a problem. Because there's still a lot of people that don't understand that there's a problem, which is a problem. You know what I'm saying? You got people that just literally deny it, which is not making things any easier for anybody. So that's just food for thought. And now that the queen is not on it, the world is most definitely correct. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice, smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and I will catch you all on the next video. All right? Peace.